Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's edition of Gators Baseball Academy TV. I'm your host, Jim Cromer. I'd like to welcome you guys into the show this week. Really excited to get after it. Lots of great things happening out there as baseball is coming back full swing, it seems like. So I thought I'd call on one of our, what will be a recurring guest, our Director of Player Development and very well-known coach in the area, Coach Tim Funkhauser. How are you, Coach?
Good, Jim. How are you?
Doing okay. Wanted to thank everybody for joining us again, especially everybody involved with Gators Baseball Academy for their continued support of the show, especially Steve Marion, Joe Lopez, and, of course, Chris Craddock, our president, for their continued support for us to provide this. We hope you guys are enjoying it. And we do want to start off, I think, in Brewski's Smokehouse and Music Restaurant and Bar there in O'Fallon, Missouri, one of our local small businesses. As the stuff's changing out there, I'm sure they're still providing that curbside pickup, and as all the places get open really out there, they're probably going to be excited about getting people back in the door. So for everybody out there, please make sure you patronize those businesses that patronize us. So we want to start with Brewski's, and of course, like I said, I introduced Coach Funkhauser. We've got a nice little lineup for you this week. I'm excited to talk to one of our youth coaches over in Missouri, Brett Kinning. People know him around the barn. He's a very energetic guy that knows his baseball and is excited about getting it going, especially as things are starting to open up a little bit. But one of the main reasons I wanted to invite in Coach Funkhauser is we've been doing this together at the youth level for many years when we were young, when the kids were younger. And one of the big things we always used to talk about is getting the kids prepared to play in multiple games, not just a game, but multiple games back-to-back days. That's an important part of trying to keep them healthy and keep them developing, not just playing games, but also developing through drills, fundamentals, practices, things like that. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today because it sure seems like, while I'm not going to predict how everything's going to be tomorrow or the next day because it seems like you could lose in that argument a lot, it looks like things are starting to open back up. We're having games. So I think it's an important time to talk about it. Before we do, though, we want to remind you guys to learn more about us. You can go to GatorsBaseballAcademy.com. There's all types of information on there. You'll get information on there about tryouts, our apparel stores, lessons, rentals, anything you could want to know about us, you can learn there. Also, Gators Baseball Academy on Facebook. All of you guys are watching that here, and we do appreciate it. Tell more people about us. Make sure you guys like the page. And when you see this, if you would share the stream that you're seeing here, it just helps bring more people into the mix. So please do so. You can find us on Twitter at GatorsBA and, of course, on Instagram, Gators Baseball Academy. So going to start this week's show off with our Coach's Corner, and I want to thank Kathy Kelo, local State Farm agent with 18 years of experience, providing insurance for auto, home business, condo, life, health, and renter's insurance. Give her a call, 636-561-6460. I'd appreciate it if you guys would give her an opportunity for your business. But in our Coach's Corner this week, like I said, I think it's that time to start looking at how do we make sure that we're preparing safely for multiple games. Coach, a lot of what we do in the offseason, I know you talk about progression when it comes to certain types of drills. I don't know that it's any different for when we're working out or doing speed, strength, agility, things like that. I think in the end, we're trying to prepare ourselves both fundamentally and physically to play games. This has been an unprecedented thing going on. And while I don't think people are just sitting around, there is a little bit of a difference between, playing a little catch and then hitting the diamond. We want our kids to be healthy. So thought maybe you could come in this week and talk about some things that people could do to prepare themselves. Now, obviously in Missouri, as things have opened up, if they can find a field, they'll get out there. They can start getting in a little bit bigger groups. Illinois, not so much. We got a bunch of people over here that are still, maybe playing catch with dad or brother, stuck in the house, can't really go anywhere. So thought maybe you could come up with a few things that people could think about just to help them get prepared.
Yeah, I know Cody spoke on the arm end last week, and just touch on that positionally as well as just a gradual progression in amount of throws, distances, and then how many times you're doing it a week. So each player on, a youth team getting started now might be pretty different. So I think if you can get your own child out there and just start playing catch and then gradually back it up, and maybe if you have, let's just go with a 10U player, if you back them up to maybe 90 feet the first time, and then if you've been playing catch throughout, then you might be able to go back a little farther than that, and then over time play multiple days, maybe consecutively, or even farther distance, and get a feel for what their arm is doing. For the trained eye, it's a little better, but it's something that we'll be doing with our high school kids, to see where they're at and make sure that we're not trying to go 100 miles an hour. That's why I've talked with all our kids on the phone leading up to return to play. And then that goes into positional too. So I think I just heard Paul DeYoung on the way here talking on the radio about the same type of ramp up. Like they'll take some games to get back in the flow of timing. Defensively, it's just getting back to the rhythm of being able to move your feet and then let your hands work, and then finish with a throw. And I think mentally you'll have to get that engine going again, because the weather's going to be pretty nice, or we might have 80-degree weather this weekend. And if teams are out there playing and they're thinking they should be going at that speed, that they're going to be more prone to making errors, mental errors and stuff like that, because they're not in routine.
Yeah, we talk about, being proud of the programs that we put together for our young kids, high school kids, whatever, in the off season. You've got kids in there working catchers academies and infield academies. You've got the kids doing the throwing programs. Hitting, is always a big thing. It's always funny when you talk, hey, I'm looking for some instruction. I always say it's about usually 8 out of 10. It's either, it's pitching, and then usually 1 or 2. It's hitting usually, then it's pitching, then people talk about defense. But some of the drills and stuff that we've done, hopefully some of the kids have been able to continue to do that sort of stuff. I think the wall ball series has been great, because in the end, again, for everybody out there, there's a lot of people probably going, man, it isn't that my kid doesn't want to do something. It's just that, we don't live around a bunch of other kids, or we're living out here, we're doing this, and we can't go here, and there's no field. There's a lot of hills to climb, but I thought the wall ball series was really great. And, for all you guys out there, I think one of the things that Tim went through first and foremost, if you saw the first video, and you'll start seeing more of those coming out through our social media thread as well. But one of the big things, no doubt, for me was find a ball that works depending on what type of environment you have. I think I had mentioned it at our house. We were fortunate. We had a walkout basement, and we had this nice concrete wall. And, my son, from the time we moved there, would go out there and play wall ball every day. And he could use a variety of balls. But I was watching Evan. You guys, in your home, you have drywall in the garage, and he was using a tennis ball, and it seemed to work just fine.
Yeah, I think it's you've got to do with what your environment has, but I think it does play true to have some variability, whether it's a different type of surface to bounce it off of, or different types of balls. And bottom line is you want your feet to be able to move, or in some of the lead-up drills that I had, it was just more stationary feet and working your hands, and then be able to progress from there. But wall ball is something that's been around for years. I think it's been interesting to see that more pro guys started doing it at spring training this year. It was more prevalent on social media. And they have all the big league facilities and everything like that, and they're throwing a ball off a concession stand wall, and reacting to that. And that was very prevalent in spring training. But it's all about just developing your feet. And the beauty about it is it's play. It's in its essence of play and enjoying the game. And I think that's something that is going to be brought back to action when people get out there. Returning to play is why did I want to start playing? I played for the beauty of the game, and you can learn a lot that way. But it really simulates what a coach might do at a short kind of primer setting of being at a short distance, whether it's rolling, whether it's hitting a fungo or a machine, or even having a person side toss you and you're hitting it out there, taking balls off the bat. That's what it's simulating, and it's very true.
Yeah, I've heard the two things that always come to mind are, I think it might have been the baseball bunch or Ozzie Smith going on there, and he put a brown paper bag on his hand and said when he was young, that's what he did. He'd throw a ball off the steps and would use this brown paper bag. So I remember that. And then, if I'm not mistaken, there's some sort of story or folklore of, I guess, Derek Jeter I guess at the University of Michigan, always up there playing wall ball against the like, and they're like, who is that kid? And they're like, oh, he's here all the time. And come to find out when they got older, it was Derek Jeter when he was a kid, because he, always wanted to go to Michigan, although he wound up not going there. But, so those are my two wall ball stories that I got. But I always say, if it's good enough for those two guys, it's probably good enough for the rest of us. Hitting's tough, right, for kids. We're going to hear tonight. I would venture to say, yourself included, although I don't think it was driven by this. You were planning on doing it before the COVID thing. But there's probably been more batting cages built in people's homes and yards this year, probably than any time ever in history, I would have to imagine. It is a nice thing to have.
Yeah, I think there's been people have adapted, whether it's getting a catch net to hit into, and my son put together a pitchback screen for a friend of my parents. Just yesterday we delivered it, so people are finding ways to get activity. But from the return to play action, I mean, maybe you have a tee, maybe you've found a way to hit in a cage or get some side toss or something like that. But just like anything else with hitting, it's about timing. Paul DeYoung was talking about 12 to 15 games, and he should kind of be ready to go from that standpoint. Well, that's going to be 50 at bats maybe.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when we talk about whether it's a youth or even a high school player, they might play around 75 or so, and maybe lighter on the youth end, but you don't get as much lead time on that. Yep. So big thing will be understand timing. There's going to be more failure to begin with, but to go out and knock out those kinks. And then when I look at a high school season, whenever I'm coaching in the spring, I look at our first 2 weeks or first 10 days really an activity of just more evaluating how do guys handle failure, and not taking maybe the first 2 days and taking the whole accumulation. And then we're going to have a better understanding of what that player is after some of that rust is knocked off. And even if they've been doing stuff leading up, there's a lot of timing issues.
I was social media, obviously, what are you going to do with your time, right? And there's a really neat video going around of Freddie Freeman and his little son. Did you see it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and it's cute, right? But the first thing I'm thinking to myself is that's a hell of a way to be quarantined. I don't know if any of you guys out there have seen this, but he's hitting off a tee into one of these nets, and he's doing it next to his pool, and then he's got his pool guest area that his wife and his son are hanging out in. And then But the whole thing is, I guess, to each their own on how they're quarantining, right? But the thing I found interesting about it was, it seems like, to me, we go through this thing with T-ball. It's like little kids play T-ball, and then none of them want to touch a tee. And then you go up and see the greatest players in the world using a tee all the time. So I think peak kids, young adults, they go through this period of, I don't want to hit off a tee. But we can learn a lot and do a lot of things off the tee. Now, obviously, the challenge of the ball not moving, but there's a lot of different ways that you can utilize a tee to try to help, because I don't think people understand, that you have to get yourself into an area where you can put a good swing on a ball that's not moving before you can put a good swing on a ball that is moving.
Right.
I think some of it is maybe it's a little boring, maybe, right? What are some things, I don't know, I'm going to challenge you here. What is a couple things maybe you could do to get rid of that boredom of hitting off a tee?
Even just hitting the ball about thigh level high, right down the middle, like most people are going to put the ball. You can work on, so-called grooving your swing or creating your best swing or a swing. And then being able to hit it at a target, like whether you're hitting it, it matters how far away your net is, but you'd ideally hit it above where it's placed on the tee. And depending on how far the net is, that's going to basically be a hard line drive. Imagine a line drive over the infielder's heads or the pitcher's head. And then you can move the tee in. You can move it more off towards the outside part of the plate. You can move it up and down. You can add even 2 tees, where then you're going to work on deciding later, or having somebody else command you to decide which tee you're going to hit off of. So there's some different things you can vary from there. And there's various drills. I know Jake showed one of his coach's corners drills the first week was something that you can do at home as well. So there's various drills, whether it's position your feet at a 45-degree angle or even 10 toes right back towards the pitcher to add some constraints and to make it more challenging and get a better feel for your body. So there's different things to spice it up, but really just even if you have an area, just hitting it to different targets, or I'm going to try to hit it outside of the infield. If I have a bigger open space, maybe it's just setting out a cone or a hat and trying to hit it towards that external target, which allows you to organize your body. And a lot of times your body's going to perform the act without having to think about it.
You know, I would have to imagine that one of the things that we may struggle with early is game situation type stuff because we just haven't had the time, right? And I think for all of us, I think we know that. I mean, I think this is going to be one of those things that we're just going to have to kind of accept it for a little while and use it as a teaching moment. I mean, I don't really know any other way. You know, of all the things you can do at home, I mean, like situational base running and plays that just happen in a game, those are going to be the toughest things, I think, to overcome. And I think, I don't know, Tim, unless you got something to pull out of your hat, I think it's just going to be plenty of teaching moments for us, especially early on.
Yeah, and I think I think parents and coaches will kind of have a little more tempered view, especially at the youth level, from the standpoint of sometimes you get hyped up and you're really excited to get back out there and get your team rolling, and you're living on the win, the loss, or your son executing or not. And I think you can look long term, kind of begin with the end in mind, and just it's a gradual progression of just trying to get better and learning through those mistakes. And I think creating an atmosphere like that is definitely going to be beneficial now, but it really should be sustainable for the future. Of everybody wants to go out and compete, but the big thing is the lessons learned throughout those challenges.
You know, I would say, I kind of told my own son this, you know, if you don't come out of this, you know, a little stronger, a little faster, that's a shame. Because the one thing you can do is go out and run and, you know, you do some push-ups, like do some, you know, you don't need a big weight set, but there's a real opportunity here that you probably don't get this time of year typically if you're a baseball player. You know, I mean, I know you and I've talked about it, trying to keep the kids exercising somewhat during the season without tearing them up and allowing their bodies to recover. You know, they typically don't get this much time to spend working on their bodies while there's that many games going on. So, you know, that'd be a real shame. And you know, especially for our Illinois guys that we're talking to right now. You know, yeah, we're hoping it opens up here real soon, right? And obviously you guys in this area probably have a chance to maybe take it to Missouri if you want. But, man, those kids should be out running and working on jumps. Those are things you can do.
Right. Yeah, I think you have intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. And no matter where your kid is as of now, I think the big key is to kind of target what's ahead of them. And if they know that they got games or they're going to start practicing again, that's going to be motivation itself. But to be able to try to sit down with them and just have a plan. I know I did it with my kids that are a 17U and a 15U player of here's kind of the timeline leading forward. Now, what are you going to do, or what are you going to continue to do, and try to seek those motivational points and then help hold them accountable or help get them out there and do some things. So I think setting some type of goals in that manner, but really you can do that. Like really catch play is just, I mean, you can go out and play catch with your dad or mom. I've seen that before many times.
Our friend Justin Stone talks all the time. His mom throwing BP to him all the time. And big deal. I mean, hey, don't leave mom out, especially a day after Mother's Day, right?
And then you got wall ball, and then you got hitting off a tee. And if you're not even hitting off a tee, taking some dry swings, and later if things get more relaxed and you can get out to a cage or something like that, then every little bit can help.
Might have been Ted Williams said, if you want to be a 300 hitter, you got to swing a bat 300 times a day. So I don't know, go out in your driveway and swing a bat, I guess. Yeah. You know, with Missouri being a little ahead of Illinois, obviously, things being a little different, I thought we had Brian Curry on a few weeks ago from Illinois. He was really interested in the parent-player dynamic and, of course, coaching your own son. With things being a little bit different over there, and, you know, especially here in Illinois, we have a lot of new teams. I thought it would be interesting to get the perspective of a coach that's really well thought of over in our Missouri organization. He's had this team only a a few years, but they're very young and kind of started with the Gators. So I thought maybe we'd try to get some perspective on what they're doing over there.
Right.
So I want to welcome in a guy that, like I said, is a well-respected coach over there, Brett Kenning. Let's give him a call. Hopefully this works here. You never know around here when something's not going to work, So far, so good. We'll just try to. Brett, are you there? Brett, you there?
Yep. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yep. Gotcha. Nice of you to join us. How are you today?
Hey, you're doing great. Just got done.
Well, wanted to get some perspective from you from a couple of different things. I know you've got a nice baseball background and you're really excited about being a coach. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your baseball background?
Yeah. So obviously, played baseball growing up. Ended up going to from Iowa originally, so we actually played summer baseball in Iowa, and so it's a little bit tougher to get the looks than it is on the spring side. And so I actually didn't grow until I was about 19, 20 years old and put some weight on. So I actually went to junior college my first 2 years and went to Johnson County Community College in Kansas. And then from there, like I said, hit a little bit of a late growth spurt, put on about 20, 25 pounds, and ended up going to Arkansas State in the Sun Belt Conference, and played at Arkansas State there for 2 years, and was lucky enough to get drafted my senior year by the Cleveland Indians. Played with those guys for a year until they told me wasn't good enough to play anymore. So I decided to hang them up, and that was it, right? So enjoying coaching the little guys. So I've got an 8-year-old son, and actually help coach 2 teams. So my son plays on a 9U team, and he also plays on an 8U team, and so we are extremely busy.
Well, it sounds like it. I was mentioning to you earlier, one of our trainers that I think over on the Illinois side, the kids really loved working with Coach Maggio, and he went to Arkansas State, was a middle infielder there for 4 years. So awfully good school. So you were off to a great start there. But you find yourself coaching here, and I believe you started young, correct? You started with a team. Was it 7U? Was Mr. Craddock telling me that correctly?
Yeah. So it was actually it was 6U.
So,
so 6, and then so we've had we were 6U. Lucky enough to get a lot of great kids that are actually still on the team. I want to say 6 or 7 of the same boys that are on the 9U team are the same boys from that started off with that team, kind of the original. So yeah, I was lucky enough. We moved here 4 years ago, and our neighbors were in the organization. And we were looking to play. It was like, hey, jump in. And it was late, so I called up there, and lucky enough, Chris was needing somebody to coach, and so that's where my son was a year younger, but we jumped up and played, and kind of been playing with those boys ever since.
Well, that's good. You can never have enough good coaches that both have the knowledge and the want to. I mean, you get a lot of guys. I always say with coaching, I think a lot of people want to do it until they do it, and then they realize maybe they want somebody else to do it. So it's always nice to have guys that really want to do it. You started young. For a lot of our coaches out there that are just getting started, what do you think's the biggest challenge when you start young like that?
Well, I mean, obviously keeping the kids' attention span. They're doing a lot of different things, and it's tough sometimes to keep them focused. And so, one of the things that I like to do, obviously, I try to get as much help from the parents and as much as possible, or the other coaches, but really try to keep drills down to 5 to 10 minutes. Like to break up into small groups, and really at the young age, give them as much repetition as possible. So, for us at practice, you'll see us breaking into 3-4 different groups or drills, and working on a specific thing for 5-10 minutes, especially when they're in that 6-7-year-old age group. Once they start getting to that 8-9, you give them a little bit more, but really kind of break it down, keep it simple. focus on the main things, and don't try to give them too much, but just keep it having fun, engaged, and repetition.
It's amazing to hear you say that. I've like I said, I've been fortunate to work with Tim and learn from him and different guys over the years. And I find myself now watching a lot of practices, obviously, because of my role. And it's one of the first things I say to myself afterwards. If I felt like it wasn't good, it's typically a lot of standing around. You know what I mean? Like,
yep.
If you feel like there's a lot of standing around, because you can see it. You just lose the kids pretty quick. So good points there for sure. As you've been with the organization, though, what do you think are some of the really, I don't know, I don't want to say high points, but what are some of the definite benefits that you've found being a part of the organization?
Well, obviously the facilities are top notch. There's not a better facility, in the St. Louis area, but really I think what separates, and I've got a lot of, friends that, are in other organizations, and, actually my college, baseball teammate who's part of the Prospects. They've got a great organization as well. But one of the things that separate, the Gators is the trainers, right? I mean, we've got top-notch trainers. And then really, Chris and all the guys, they care, Josh Potter, Joe Lopez, Steve Berry and all those guys, but they really truly are invested in the kids, in the development of the kids. And they want to see them be successful. And so, as a parent, and that's what I am first, right? I'm a parent, and, for other folks other than myself to want to see every single kid that steps in there be successful. And that's all you can ask for, right? I mean, that's, they've got the best interest of the kids, every single one that steps in, no matter if they're going to be a five-star recruit to go Division I or a MLB guy. They treat every single kid the same. They want to see them develop, and they want to keep as many kids playing as possible. And that's one of the things that I try to really hit on with these kids is that nobody's giving out. I haven't seen a college coach coming to 9U baseball games or 8U baseball games.
It may happen. Hang on now. Don't speak too fast.
Not
no, right? But the reality is nobody's getting a college scholarship, right, at that age. And so the worst thing that could happen is you have a kid that quits baseball at 9, 10, 11, that doesn't get, that doesn't ever get the chance to grow into their body or, develop into what they can really do. And so, and that's the one thing I really like about the Gators. They try to keep it fun. They keep it active. They got great trainers that are trying to develop and, try to help the kids get to the next level. And really there's, an opportunity for everybody who wants to do something.
So. The challenge this year, what's it been like for you, not being able to, I guess, operate normally? How's that been for you, especially with a younger group? Are you worried, concerned, like when you get after it, like, or what you're going to see? Like, how's it been?
Yeah, so it's been definitely, it has definitely been tough. So, I was listening, obviously, before I got on, and I think that, the most important thing, especially for these young kids is, whether it's playing catch, doing those little things, taking dry swings, just trying to get out there and be active, but really working on, I try to tell my kids is you got to be athletic, right? I mean, you get bigger, faster, stronger. Those little things will help translate as these kids get older and get bigger. But really the focus has been, for us, and we started back up last week. Got a couple of practices in, was, just really kind of starting on the basics, just back to playing catch. Most of the kids we were in contact with, and they were out playing catch with mom and dad, or they got an older brother, or younger brother that they were playing catch with. But really just starting kind of from scratch. And you guys hit on it. Probably the last thing, that's going to get touched on is the situational stuff. And that's unfortunate, but that's the reality of it is you got to get the kids seeing some live pitching, but being cautious with their arms and building it up. And, so we're really focused on, 15, 20 pitches. That's the maximum you're going to throw. You're going to throw one inning. And so, we were thinking about entering in some tournaments and doing some of those things. Instead, we went with kind of just a little less scrimmage games with some other teams. Limited to 20 pitches, throw an inning, and just start seeing some live at bats, and getting that timing back and getting back into it. So, it's definitely been it's been tough, right? Because you see all these kids that put a lot of work in, a lot of time, energy, and effort. From back from November all the way through, till March, till this thing shut down, and you take off 6 weeks, and then just get back at it. It's definitely frustrating, but I think hopefully, knock on wood, we're going to be moving forward here. So.
Yeah, I the being healthy thing obviously is a big part of it. The keeping them, excited about the product. Tim knows me. I know you don't know me, but I'm sure Tim would laugh thinking about me as a kid trying to stay in the house or not do anything. I mean, I'd be bouncing off the walls. I don't even know how some of these kids do it. I can't even sit home now, and I'm an adult. But it's going to be a challenge. But I think in the end, if we can, we can learn a little bit from this too, right? Like I think one of the coolest things I've seen is a lot of older guys are telling people, like, we got a lot of seniors that this was it for them, right? Like, they're not going to play college baseball. And I mean, they're devastated, and they're telling kids that are their friends and younger brothers, like, don't take this for granted. And you hear people say this all the time, like, but it's serious, man. Don't take it for granted. Like, it just happened to me. So I think for all of them, if you think a little bit about, just letting your love for the game and just enjoying it athletically, I think we can learn a lot from there. And you've got that age group, I believe. So 9 will be pitching for you this year. Is this the first time?
Yep. So we just started pitching. So that is it's definitely, we get the back. You go from nonstop action on the machine pitch side to you throw strikes to get out. If you don't throw strikes, it becomes a very long game.
Oh my goodness gracious! I'm looking at Tim kind of laughing, thinking back to when our boys were 9, and it wasn't as bad as everybody said it was going to be for us. So. I mean, I think we were kind of lucky. We actually had a lot of kids that could throw strikes. I think it was odd, but like everybody else, we had some kids that really struggled. And when you have that, you just kind of sit there and you really feel more for the kid, like, God, please just let him throw a strike, because you feel bad. But, in the end, it's all part of the learning process. Things don't always go smooth, right? And I think baseball will teach you that pretty quick.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's, you hit it on the head, right? I think that's one of the things that I try to, instill in the kids is, you can fail, right? You fail, 7 out of 10 times, you're considered a great player, but, keeping that confidence and staying, confident every time you step up to the plate, or every time that you're on the mound, or, every pitch is a new pitch. And so, trying to instill that in them at a young age, because, for me, that I'm 5'9", 5'9", 135 pounds, it wasn't any type of size thing that got me to where I was. But, I felt like mentally, there was, every time I stepped on the field, I was the best player on the field. Right? Every time I stepped up at the plate. And so trying to get that instilled in the kids and being confident and, knowing what to do when you get up to, up the plate, or, on the mound. And so that's extremely important. So when they're failing, it's probably one of the best times to try to get that and instill that in those kids. Because, the kids that are constantly successful, not, always doing good, always, that first time that, they face adversity is, it's difficult. So, trying to keep those guys motivated, and, if you have a CS flag, I am extremely animated, and, I get excited. So I try to, get a lot of energy for the boys, because I think they feed off of that type of stuff.
Well, that's good, because if you're going to coach a bunch of 9-year-olds, you better have energy. So that's good to hear. Well, listen, Coach, we appreciate you joining us this week. It was nice to get some perspective from you. As you're able to get back outside and do a little practicing, if you can find a field. We probably got some jealous guys over here on this side of the river, but hopefully we'll all be there here pretty soon. But I wish you luck on your season, and if there's ever anything I can do for you, let me know. And, of course, we hope to see you around the sports barn soon.
I appreciate it, guys.
All righty, take care. Good luck, Coach. That is Coach Brett Kenning of our Missouri Youth Gators. Tim, a couple things he mentioned in there. It sounds like he's got a pretty good perspective on I think the main thing, trying to make it fun, but yet keeping them moving. I mean, that's such a big thing when they're young. I mean, it's a big thing, I think, when they're older.
No, it was great just listening to the words that he had. And here's a guy he's played at the highest level and of he's played professional baseball as well as in college and high school, but he's got a great perspective about the development and just about working with every kid and let them take their pathway. And I thought what he touched there on the end about the failure thing. I think there's so many things to learn from failure,
Sure.
and the key is to not not fail again,
Right.
the same way. And that's where you talk about your mental situations. Like the player that's really in tune, they learn from that. And probably a lot of people have been watching the Bulls' last run, and you look at the
Last
phases,
Dance. Let's
the
get it
Last
right.
Dance.
Yeah.
There
Were
you
you
go.
worried about copyright infringement?
There you go. And you look at how Jordan even transposed himself and evolved as a player within the team and learned how that all those things kept building up, but he used that in a positive
Sure.
manner. So great job, Brett. Keep up the great work, and we're very fortunate to have you in our club.
Speaking like of challenges, this year you will coach our 17U team. A lot of challenges going on there. We've got some kids on that team with aspirations of playing college. You've been coaching, it's the same but different the way you've done it before. What are some of the challenges you think for you guys going into the summer? How do you see some of that stuff working out?
For me, I had a chance to coach them in the fall, and I couldn't coach them in the practices because of IHSA rules, but I was able to coach the group in games because we had few enough Edwardsville kids. But from that standpoint, I got to know the guys. So that was a big point for me that I know almost everybody on the team already, so I have a good sense. But I think the challenges that I've mentioned to our guys on kind of coming back to practice is start slow, try to find out where every kid was over the phone, and to continue to encourage them to keep lifting, keep running. Told them about the first week or so, like don't worry about going full speed with sprint work and build that back up. And then the same thing with arm care. We're not going to go out and face our live pitchers the first couple days, but then eventually get a sense of where they are individually, and then going through the challenges of a season. And it'll be a little different with not having a spring season and transitioning from the winter training into the spring and then into the summer. So we'll know that, but I'll be there for the guys to try to help them develop in any way.
Well, it's sometimes when you're a coach, it's like another cast of characters. And our Gator High School Athlete of the Week I think he's proving to be a little bit of a character, and that's Landon Johnson. You've gotten the opportunity to coach him a little bit, and I've enjoyed watching him. He's a fun guy. And,
Oh yeah.
Really, and I don't think we think enough about that. Like he does a really good job of enjoying the game and letting that show through the way he plays. So I think it's great. I'm looking forward to hearing from him. And he was nominated by our good friend Seth Von Barron.
Great.
So Seth must like him. He must be okay. So let's give him a call. While we're doing that, we want to thank Assurance Protection for sponsoring our Gators High School Athlete of the Week. They do security systems, intercoms, phone systems, home theater, fire alarms. Give them a call, 314-236-5910. Their owner is Ryan Montgomery. His son Cooper plays for one of our Missouri Gator teams, 12U Trifoletti. I hope I got that right. I may have messed that one up. But let's give Landon a call. I don't know. He strikes me as a guy.
Yeah, as you're calling him,
he might not even answer the phone.
Oh, he can really swing the bat, so he might knock the phone across the room.
Hello?
Hello.
Mr. Johnson?
Yep. How are you doing?
How are you?
Hi, Landon. How are you?
Good. How are you? Thanks for the call. I appreciate it.
Well, you're our Gator High School Athlete of the Week, and I tell you, I think the nomination came when Seth heard that you hit a couple bombs off the wall this week and right out of the gate in practice. So I don't know, maybe your power lore is growing.
Yeah, I've definitely been getting after it during this not brief break, a pretty long break.
So how's everything going? It was nice to get out on the field. I know Friday. Want to talk a little bit about that. we're trying to grow as an organization and really, adhere to these new challenges and rules. How hard was it for you guys out there? I mean, I bet I thought Seth did a great job of explaining it. Like, I think we heard ourselves a million times say spread out. It's got to be hard though, right? Because, you haven't seen some of these guys, and, you're in a sport where you want to get excited and you want to have some fun. It's probably going to be one of the biggest challenges. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously you can get work in individually and by yourself, but I don't think playing as a team or as a unit and getting on the practice field as a team really benefits in the long run, because you build that chemistry with your guys. You turn double plays. You get ground balls in. You get shortstop and third baseman, second baseman arm pass, and where the ball goes to first baseman. So you can get individual work in, and obviously that's beneficial to your game. But playing as a team and gelling on a practice field or in games is very rewarding on the field.
Man, your coach is sitting next to me smiling at that answer. He likes that. Well spoken. That's good stuff. It's funny. I was watching you guys play catch, and I don't know that I've ever seen so many smiles from guys just playing catch. It had to feel good. I mean, just to look around and see yourself on a baseball field.
Yeah, I mean, I can speak for everyone that we've all been in batting cages for the majority of the winter, because we don't live in Florida, so we can't go out every day when it's 80 degrees. So being on a baseball field itself is just a pleasing feeling, especially considering the fact that we've been in batting cages and locked up in buildings for the past 4 months. And getting back on the baseball field, especially considering the recent circumstances of the virus, is very satisfying, because the future is not really well known, but getting back on the baseball field was like it was a big victory mentally for us.
Well, as Coach mentioned, right, as you were getting on, you can really swing it. What are you hoping to get out of this? Are your ambitions to play in high school? I mean, not high school. Is your ambitions to play in college, or are you kind of wanting to just go out like on the last hurrah, or where are you at in the process?
I'm very committed to playing college and then, playing in the pros. So when I step on the baseball field, it's serious and it's, I'm locked in. So in terms of that, I'm looking to go two-way in college and then, see where that pans out. But yeah, right now, my short-term goal is to play in college, and then long-term goal is to play in the pros, obviously, with hard work and results in college that would come.
Well, that's awesome to hear. I know I would encourage you to, maintain your personality, because I think it's great. I mean, I think it's an infectious thing around it. Coach, you got anything for Landon before we dump him off the line here?
No, we had it great to hear you, and it was great to see you smack those balls off the wall and overall just see your face again. But I had the chance to spend the fall with him and also go out to Arizona and play in a tournament in the fall and really get to know him. And I got to know him as an individual and as a player, and both are very promising. And on the field, he does wield a bat. He's going to hit a lot of doubles and a lot of home runs as well, and is a great teammate and is a good first baseman. The thing he's got a lot of upside on is on the mound too, and we saw some of that towards the end of the fall, and I look forward to seeing that this summer. So it's going to be exciting.
I call that a slinger when a guy throws it like that. He can sling it.
He
I
can
like it.
A good two-way is a player is a great asset to the team.
Well, listen, Landon, we appreciate it. Thank you for being on with us this week as our high school athlete of the week. And obviously, I'll see a lot of you this summer with you playing on the same team as my son. And I look forward to it, man. I wish you nothing but success, my friend.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, Coach. I appreciate it.
All righty.
See you, LJ.
Mr. Landon Johnson. I didn't think he was going to answer there when I called.
Very well spoken.
Yeah, very rarely do you hear a first baseman going, well, I like to see the ball out of their hand to see which way it's going to go.
Great.
It's like, man. He's been listening to Coach Funkhauser.
He's good. Stuff. He picks up a lot of things just on his own.
Well, I want to go now. I want to thank Dane Carver with Midwest Land Group Broker. He's a land group agent. He'll help you find land, whether it's for outdoor sports like hunting, for farming, residential living, or just a getaway destination. one of the most genuine guys you will meet. He also has a son, Bradley, that plays for one of our Missouri Gator teams. So I want to welcome in his son. Let's give them a call. I got a report here that he had their first game. They played a game this weekend at Carshill Field, and he had quite a day, I understand.
That sounds good.
Let's see. Hi, how are you? Is this Gus?
Yes.
Gus Ramtham, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. I want to congratulate you on being our Missouri Gator Youth Athlete of the Week.
Thank you.
You were nominated, as I hear through the grapevine, that you finally got to play a game this weekend, and you were something. I hear you put up quite some eye-popping stats. How did it go for you?
Yeah, I had my first game. I had 2 home runs. I was 2 for 2. In my second game, I had 2 singles, and I scored on both of them.
How about that, Coach? What do you think of that?
He had a career day
Right out of the gate.
Yeah.
I mean,
That's awesome.
You must be a hitter. Are you one of those kids that can just get off the couch and rake?
Yeah, I like hitting. I always like hit with my dad and with my coach at home and at the barn.
That's awesome to hear. So this has been challenging, right? Like not being able to have normal practices. What have you been doing at home to keep yourself ready to play? Because it's obvious you were ready to play.
Yeah, I have a brother and my dad. We always like play catch, and we play like 3 times a week. And we always like go hit at the barn if it's open. And so we just wanted to stay ready for baseball because that's like our main sport.
That's awesome to hear. So what positions do you play? Obviously you can hit, but what positions do you play?
I like to play all of them. I'm like, I can do whatever the coach wants me to do.
Hey, you're way ahead, right? Coach, you like that, don't you? When a guy says, I'll do whatever you want, Coach?
Yeah, and he produces. Too.
And he produces.
Great.
That's good stuff. Well, I'm sure now that it's kind of opening back up, you're really looking forward to the season. Off-season workouts we're kind of putting behind us, and we're going to get outside. Or you got any, I don't know what we'll be doing. You got any trips planned? You guys going anywhere fun to play baseball that you know of?
I don't know, but we were going to go to like Branson, but I think that got canceled. We would have already been there. But some of my teammates are talking about like going to Indiana and like other places like New York. But
Oh my Lord. Well, that is awesome. So, I guess that's good to hear that you're talking about going all these places. Branson, though, I bet would have been fun because I heard that that's going to be really nice. But good for you, man. Like, I hope you get to travel. What's your favorite part of going out of town? Is it kind of hanging with the boys at the hotel and swimming, playing in the tournaments, playing teams you never played before? What's your favorite part of going out of town?
I just like going to see places and like playing, like you said, other teams. I just like seeing different competition.
That is awesome. Well, so we got some well-spoken dudes on here tonight, Coach. All right, because I always got to ask, since, young guys, you got to know, who's your favorite baseball team?
I think is Colton Wong.
Colton Wong's your favorite player, so does that mean the Cardinals are your favorite team?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So you must be a good second baseman, maybe, huh?
I play second, but I think my main position is center field.
Oh, yeah. Well, you got good wheels, it sounds like, if you're hitting home runs.
Colton
that's
played
good stuff.
center field a couple
Colton
years
could-
ago.
Yeah, he could do it, I'm sure.
He went out there.
Athletes rule, man. Well, listen, we appreciate you being on. I was glad that Coach Craddock was able to nominate you after hearing about your performance over at Carshill Field. I'll be keeping an eye on you. I know the whole club will, and we look forward to seeing you around the sports barn soon.
Thank you.
Good job, Gus. Keep it up.
Good job. That is awesome. All right. Gus.
I guess he likes hitting.
My goodness gracious. So I tell you what, man, we got some good guys, dude. I'm excited. This next one here, let me tell you. So
I think he's going to be the host next week.
yeah, I
Him and
think
LJ.
I'm fired. I'm definitely fired. Well, I want to thank our friend Carl Clayton for our Illinois Gator Youth Athlete of the Week that's coming up. Carl Clayton, American Home Lending USA. Your friend Carl Clayton can help you with any of your needs. 314-749-4649. Lots of stuff going on with refinancing and home purchases right now. I mean, it's just a crazy time, and you should definitely inquire. Carl's a friend of the club, and we've talked on here about how he's going to have some stuff for us in the offseason. I'm actually going to have him on a show because he's a great baseball guy as well. We can talk a little bit about it after we put the program together, but he's just a good baseball guy that loves the game as well as boys at Missouri State. So I know he's missing it for sure, but when I send this stuff out and I start talking to people about nominees, I was talking, and I know Coach Billy Herman.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of Coach. He does a great job. He's got a great attitude towards the whole thing. He's just really, really good. I sent him something. I said, hey, I'd like you to nominate somebody. And he's like, Jimmy, I haven't played a game yet. Like, what do you want me to do? I go, no, it's not that type of nomination. I'm like, so give me a kid that, like, you're just so impressed with how he's handled all this. And he went right away to this gentleman, and I know his dad really well. I've gotten to see his boy a little bit, but this guy's dad, Mike Haraski's his dad's name, and Dane Haraski's our athlete of the week. So I'm excited to learn a little bit from Dane today. Dane, you there?
Hello, I'm here.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. Well, I want to congratulate you on being our Illinois Gator Youth Athlete of the Week.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Now, your coach nominated you today, and he's obviously I know your coach really well, and he could have nominated all coaches are like this, right? Like, I could nominate all my kids; they're all great. We were talking about you, and he says, you never miss one of these shows, and you and your dad, and I kind of talked about this earlier, but he says you and your dad built a cage and have been hitting and really just trying to take this negative and turn it into a positive that we've had here.
Yeah, we built a cage, and we've just been trying to get better over this time off.
Great.
Now, you don't know this probably, but I've known your dad now for a while. And the way I met your dad was I've been doing this youth thing for a while. And people that I think just do it really well and have a great mindset and they've got a great general attitude towards it, they really impress me because youth sports sometimes can get really tough. So I've been an admirer of your dad's for a long time. You don't have to tell him I said that if you don't want. But so I've been watching you play for a long time. But I've been really impressed with your dad and how he goes about the game. So you've obviously probably spent a lot of time with him over the last, month, right? Month and a half, because what are you going to do? How's that been for you, like being with dad so much? Has that been a good thing or has that been a bad thing?
As he sits right next to him.
As he's sitting right next to him, yeah.
It's been good.
It's been good. Not throwing any balls at you when you're not listening, nothing going on like that?
Well, he hit me one time in the cage, but
it wasn't on purpose? Okay.
It might have been on purpose. I don't know.
You weren't
probably
listening.
hit 2-line drives right back at his
Yeah,
head.
there you go. That's how it works. But no, I think one of the fun things here is kids, I think sometimes, as dads, we get away from playing catch with our kids, but I think a lot of kids these days have had an opportunity to play more catch with dad or mom, like we mentioned earlier. And I know your dad's a good coach as well. What are some of the things maybe he's been working on you with to try to get you through this?
He's been wanting me to put on more weight and get stronger over this time.
That's really smart. We were talking about that earlier. Typically this time of year, you don't have the time to work out like you do now. So you've been doing a lot of push-ups, stuff like that?
Yeah, I've been doing push-ups, and I've been running at the park with my dog and stuff.
Who's faster, you or the dog? Did you hear me? Who's faster, you or the dog?
Oh, probably my dog, but I can beat him in a race sometimes.
They're pretty quick. So, so your whole team obviously is a new Gator team this year, but you came from a really good team, and you're coming to a really good team. What's it been like for you coming over here and doing the Gator training? What did if you want to talk a little bit about the off-season training, what do you remember about it? What do you like about it?
It was fun and stuff. I like the coaches, and they're good coaches, and they taught a lot of good stuff, and I feel like I got better coming over here.
That's awesome. Any particular coach you want to give a shout out to that you enjoyed working with this offseason?
Coach Maggio and Funkhauser were probably my favorite.
Oh, you just said Funkhauser because he's sitting next to me, didn't you? Come on, you can be honest. No, I'm just kidding. No, listen, everybody likes Coach Maj, man. He's a great young coach, and I think energy, right? You guys all seem to feed off energy. You've got energetic coaches. You guys got a really nice team. You looking forward to the season?
Yeah, I think we're going to be really good. We have a good team with a good group of hitters and fielders, so I think they'll be good.
Well, we just need everything to open back up and get you guys on the field, and that'll be awesome. Who's your favorite baseball team?
Awesome.
Who's your favorite baseball team?
Probably the St. Louis Cardinals.
Okay, who's your favorite player?
Colton Long.
Man, that's 2 Colton Longs tonight.
That's good.
That's good stuff. Well, listen, man, you tell your dad I said hello because I'm sure he's sitting right by you. I got a lot of respect for your dad. He's a heck of a guy, good coach. You're very lucky to have him around influencing you. He does good stuff. All the kids on that team somehow or another will benefit from your dad being around. So listen, man, you take care. I know I saw you quite a bit at the sports barn in Illinois, and I guess if I don't see you soon on the field somewhere around here, I definitely will see you next offseason. Sound good, my friend?
Yes.
You're
Thanks
doing
for
great.
having me.
Yeah,
All
you're doing
right.
great things. Keep it up.
Yes, sir. All right.
Thank you.
That is awesome stuff. Like, yeah, his dad and oh man, I'm a butcher. Jamie Vanderheiden. I think I may have. Man, did I just butcher Jamie's last name? It's gonna drive me crazy. These guys coached a team. The first time I ever saw them was in Vanderheiden. I got it right. So they coached a team, and they had Arizona State. They looked just like Arizona State Sun Devils. I mean, they had the colors and the whole thing. And just watching them, just how they handled themselves, the way they coached them. They didn't overcoach them. They let them make mistakes. They talked them. They just did a really good job. They had a good passion. I would see them at, like, when we were doing the coaches clinics back in the day, they always came. Just a couple of guys, and a lot of kids really benefited from those guys. And it's glad, you get glad to see those guys come into your organization because you're getting the right kind of people. So very excited about having them. And again, I did have an opportunity to see Dane. It's hard to see all these kids. Some of them you run across. But I did get to see Dane, and he is, man, he's a worker. It's good to see that kids that show up that really are there because they want to work. So it's a nice, refreshing feeling, but it's good stuff all the way around, man.
Yeah, that was a great group. I remember them in training, and they had a high ability level, but they also had a great amount of focus, and you could tell that they were self-driven. We talked about those intrinsic versus extrinsic. So the intrinsic player just plays for the love of the game and tries to get better, and that's a great way to continue to have growth.
Well, there are a couple of guys on the sidelines that you're pretty familiar with. Like I said, you had Bill for a while. This was one of your freshman coaches, and just to this day, people rave about him around town that their kids went through here, and then obviously Mike Krebs.
Oh yeah,
the baseball royalty around here.
A lot of baseball.
Like. Yeah, and once again, another young guy that looks like he's going to be a heck of a player. So, good group for sure, man. We're very lucky. We got you look at this thing and the way it's supposed to work with our Missouri club and our Illinois clubs, and then they all kind of funnel together into the high school thing, so to give the kids an opportunity based on their talent level of where they should be going, and that's the model, right? Like, if you need to be going here, then you go here. If you need to be going here, then you go here. That's the ultimate goal and model, and the way you do it is you build it up through your youth system, and it seems like a lot of people are really taking seriously some of the instruction that you guys are giving them, so that's good, and I hope they understand that all we're really doing right now is just trying to help. This is a tough time right now, something none of us have been through. And the reason I thought it'd be good for Tim to come on tonight was really just to talk about, getting prepared, because let's face it, man, this thing is going to go from 0 to 100 real quick here. And it's understandable. It is what it is. Like there's, who the heck's going to sit around for a month and not play while there's games going on? So let's try to be prepared. Let's try to do it the right way and continue with the growth of our players. So Tim, thanks for coming on tonight, man.
Sure
it's always good when you come in. And I hope all you guys out there, when you see the videos that come out through our social media sites, take advantage of watching those. We've taken some time to put those together, and I want to thank Josh Potter for helping us organize that and put it together. We're going to have great videos coming out from time to time for you guys to kind of pick off of a little bit, take what you want. And I always think that's a great idea. Take a little bit from here, take a little bit from there, and decide kind of how you want to play it. But in the end, I think for all people, if you truly try to learn and get better, it does nothing but help the kids. So, for all of us here, we appreciate all you coaches out there, especially with what you're dealing with right now. One more time, I want to thank our owners for their continued support and allowing us to put on something that I'm really having a blast doing, this Gator TV. Joe Lopez, Chris Craddock, Steve Marion, you guys are the best. We appreciate you. To some of our instructors that make this show go, for sure, Coach Funkhauser, obviously, Jake Depew, Seth Von Baron, our high school director, and just the man. I mean, wears so many darn hats. I appreciate Seth and everything he does for all of us. I hope everybody understands the amount of work these guys are going in. I do want to take a second and say that, as we are dealing with things here that we haven't dealt with before, I want everybody to remember something. These are unprecedented times. And as we move forward with things, I want to make sure, and something I know the club wants to make sure everybody understands, we understand that everybody has to do what they feel is best for them and their family. We understand that things can get scary, or things can, we want everybody to feel comfortable that they can talk to us, We want everybody to feel comfortable that they can do what they think they have to do. Communication is key, so please feel free to reach out to us. Obviously, we're moving forward with our state's guidelines and the way that we're progressing, and we've spent a lot of time trying to do our best to put this thing together to give the kids the opportunity while trying to do it safely. Are we going to be perfect? Probably not. I don't know that anybody will in this, but we're here to help your kids. And if any way, shape, or form you feel like something doesn't feel right to you and you want to talk to us, please do so. Communication's key. One last time, I want to encourage you to check us out at GatorsBaseballAcademy.com. Of course, on Facebook at Gators Baseball Academy, Twitter, Gators BA, Instagram, Gators Baseball Academy. Find us there. Follow us. It's a great way to stay connected to what we're doing. For all you guys out there in Gators TV land, we will see you on the field.